Welcome, everybody. I am Ruben, and you are listening to After the Master, a weekly podcast in which I talk to people primarily from the international student community who have recently earned a master's degree from globally leading programs and are now on the path to achieving their professional goals. My guests delve into their experiences and highlight their mistakes, learnings, and realizations, which I am sure will help you move closer to your career goals. I post a new episode every week, so please subscribe to receive updates. If you would like to listen to this episode, please see the description for a link to your favorite app and stick around till the end to gain as much as possible. I would love to hear from you, so please connect with me through the link in the description. This is the first part of episode 14, featuring Anand, who holds a Master of Science in Engineering Management from Northeastern University. He talks in depth about realizing an interest in software and product development after working as a civil engineer, which is a big switch. He shares some crucial insights for prospective students, especially those wishing to join Northeastern's graduate program. All right. Hi, Anand. How are you? Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you, Ruben, for inviting me. I'm great. Uh, let's get
So,
started.
yes, of course. So, to begin with, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your educational and professional background before you joined the masters?
Sure. So I did my bachelor's in civil engineering, and in fourth year, I did my concentration as a construction manager. After that, I did an internship with Gift City from the client side, and it was fun. And doing that, contractor whom I worked with, he offered me a job, and I worked there. Uh, After that, I started as a project engineer in 2015 after my graduation, and worked all the way as project manager. Uh, in the last a year of 2018, I worked majorly on the software of building enterprise resource solutions. So we made a customized software or SaaS, with what we say in layman terms, that software as a service,
Correct.
and that what got me interested. And then I decided to do masters again, just to add some finesse and move my whole civil engineering background and move and pivot it to more of a software based or a product based thing. And that's when I decided to do my masters in Northeastern University. And after that, I got a co-op sometime over a year with the salt systems. And there again, we were working on two features that they were launching in 2025. So that was pretty much fun about how we came and how we decided to launch it and how is the release process, what exactly goes through a particular release in terms of a physical product or even as a application or web service. Apart from that, after graduation, I started working as a product tester, and gradually today I'm a test lead at this firm. And yes, I think that's all summarized from 2015. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what strikes me is that you kind of switched right from being a civil engineer to the software side, product side. So
Yes.
was that how was that transition for you? Was it difficult or was it something that you could deal with easily? What was it like for you?
uh, to be very honest, uh, it was very much accidental and pushed to me because the firm where I worked, I was the youngest one. I was hardly 23 when I joined
Okay.
that firm, and everyone of my age were on sites, and I was more interested in like getting things done kind of person, right? And so so that the director or my boss, he got a project, correct, and he was very sure that this project had 70% of margin. The only problem was we have to come, or the person who gets the tender has to come up with a software, or should have its own software that
Right.
works according to or does the work what government software does. And uh, and as no one was there in our side to coordinate the whole development or understand the whole software development life cycle, correct, I was again chosen to deal with that. And that's when that got uh, that's when it sparked me that okay, this is something I'm more interested than civil engineering, right? Tensile
Correct.
strengths and other things, that doesn't interest me as much as these things do. And that's when, like, you start building some things, you understand how a consumer thinks, how a customer thinks. And there are the different things that drawn me. That at a point I used to work for him too, the the person we had as a software engineer. And I also helped him to understand or jot down all the requirements from a client, his client side. So
Okay.
this was a, like, what do you call it, as a switch, something that, like, this was a moment that said me, like,
Correct.
this is the point where you should, like, maybe change. And that's when I decided, okay, like, let's do this.
Even did you have any background in developing software, even, vaguely in that space, or was it like completely new for you?
So pretty much very far from all these flashy things about developing and others. But also
Okay.
I would just like to help you with that. It's a very what do you call it, as gray area or misconception, because to build a software you don't need uh, what do you call it as uh, code skills or other like that.
No, I mean, you were working with a software engineer anyway, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so probably the engineer was doing the hard coding stuff, and you were
Yes,
probably
exactly. Yes, yes,
he- assisting with you're probably giving directions and what it is
exactly.
that.
So
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
what got me interested was it was very simple, because you have to identify some yourself as a consumer who would be using the last thing, and you are also the first person who would making a thing, right? So
Correct.
you stand in between at the right meet of perfect plate, where you define what is the thing that you can serve and what is the thing that he wants to eat, or what is the thing like that. And
Understood.
so
Understood.
you start with this process, and in the meantime when you reach at the center you understand, like, what would this guy want. So that is a misconception. Like, I never knew coding, to be very honest.
Sure.
uh, until date I don't know coding. So sometimes if I want to take a huge chunk of data, I have asked my engineers and everyone to take me to give me written scripts. I just execute it. I just don't go
Okay.
into each and every details and like
Right.
move
Right.
around, or
Understood.
I independently take an initiative in doing it. No, I don't do that.
Understood. Understood.
I ask that this is the thing, how are we going from this to this, and like that, the flow. The day I started understanding that I like more of software building and software development thing,
Okay.
ran into more about what is their education process, or like
Okay.
that. And I started with the MIT open courseware thing. So
Okay.
how do that fascinated me. Also, I was watching lots and lots of mega construction in my bachelor's days on Discovery, right? So these were like all the gigantic projects are outside, right? Why are you here, like, kind of things, correct?
Interesting.
Yeah. So and this was like pool of ifs and buts that went through, and I was like, wait a minute, this is my chance to pivot or switch from civil engineering and
Correct.
do something that is more interested, or that gets me more interested, like, kind of, or maybe explore a little, kind of. And I took a chance, and yeah. So yeah, that's all. But
And
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
so that was the whole thing. Like, even like this is a Patel curse that uh, everyone in your family is majorly out.
Correct.
And yeah, and like the whole family gathering is only in December,
Right.
and you always have lots and lots of nephews and nieces to take care
Right.
of.
But
So yeah.
like, did you have anybody to talk to or consult with, you know, before making this final decision that I'll go to the US? Were you able to connect with people there, maybe who switched or didn't switch or something of that sort?
mo- Very less of my colleagues were pursuing masters in 2018
Okay.
abroad. Apart from that, I did try reaching out to LinkedIn. There were no positive feed, people feedback that I was hoping to get, or maybe I was
Mhm.
expected too much from the strangers at
Maybe.
that time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing, and I actually didn't talk to any of the alumni from Northeastern, none, zero.
Did
And
you
then
did
yeah,
you go to any consultant, like, you know, any higher education consultant or
no,
nobody? You
no.
so you took a leap of
Yeah,
faith, did everything by yourself,
yes.
and
I
yeah,
was
that's
yes.
incredible
So
actually.
the interesting thing about education or working is when you earn money on your own, you, you really start understanding that there are things that you can do, and when you majorly mess up things, that's when you go out, right?
Okay.
So I tried my way, messing it up, uh, and maybe it worked. So
Definitely, it definitely worked.
yeah,
Obviously. So let's talk a little
uh,
bit about now your time at Northeastern, right?
sure.
When you first stepped into the campus, you were in the Boston campus, right?
Yes,
Yeah, which is the main. Now I think
they have
they're trying to
North
sell
Carolina,
a lot
Seattle.
of
Yeah,
their other campuses in
exactly.
the West Coast and stuff. But yeah, the Boston campus is obviously the main campus. So when you went there, was there something that you were focused on doing from the perspective of finding a job, or what was your mindset like when you started the program?
What happened was I started like learning after 3 years. Firstly, right, sitting in a classroom for an hour and a half
Right.
and just
That's
listening. That's
difficult.
the thing. Firstly, secondly, the whole concept of getting a laptop at the table was very new to me, right?
Correct.
Other than the computer class or like the coding places. So that was very new to me, right? Like it was at a time it was distracting, at a time it was cool, but so for I think for the first whole month I was so what do you call it? Roaming around like an aloof kind of thing, you
Okay.
know? Yeah, because things are pretty much what do you call it, automated. The first thing they do is try looking for a job to get that
Okay.
SSN rolling, right? So on campus is again a
Yes.
huge
Yes.
fight, right? So you are
Right.
pushed to networking. You have to talk to your seniors. You have to go to the campus. You have to like reach out to every person who works at the front desk or a reception to talk to or ask him to like refer me for if this position is open, right? Because until unless you have a job, you won't you don't get an SSN. Correct. So SSN is the first thing yet you have to figure it out. Apart from that, it is competitive, right?
100%.
Uh, because not like even if you're selected in Northeastern, right? Let's say your class strength is 130, 140, correct? Every 140 student knows that this particular professor by far gives you the best education or best grades. There are only two criteria of selection. There is no third, to be very honest, in masters at
What do you
least.
mean criteria of selection?
So how do you select a course?
Okay. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
so there are 32 courses, right? I mean, when I say education, it's like, does it talk about anything that's happening uh, around the world or anything news
Right.
happening? Or
So
does
not
he goes
just
by,
bookish stuff. Apart
yeah,
from that.
or apart from bookish, like every day, like I had this professor in product used to come up every week so excited about
Hmm.
one product, one startup that Google buys
Okay.
or Apple buys, right? So he used to like drill down to all that thing, get a white paper, white paper is a term that that normally a company uses to understand potential what a potential company they're buying out has future in terms of revenue, products, or customer
Okay.
awareness or consumer.
Okay.
So he tries making a white paper on his own, and he shares with us every week, right?
Okay.
So
Wow.
his class 10 was only 25, and 225 at 8, let's say your class session starts at 8, at 8:01 it's finished. You don't get a chance then, right?
Oh, okay.
Correct,
So yeah,
because
you don't get a chance to select that because it's in
yeah,
such high
like
demand.
it's like this, it's just like this, like
Wow,
yeah. And
that's
also
interesting.
yeah, that's very and because it's not system that like information is available at a very large scale.
Correct.
Everyone has their own version of truth, and everyone shares the same information but caters in a very different way, right? So that is one source of information, that how do you select your professor. Another source of information is selection is how much grades they give you,
Hmm.
because everything boils down to a grade, correct? When you are a master student, you have to make sure that your grade doesn't fall anything below 3.0.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think 3.0, 3.2, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
but
That you don't want to go.
yeah, I mean, but I think getting below 3.0, which is usually
Yeah.
B grade, is,
Yes, exactly.
I mean, in extreme cases, people, have that problem. It's not difficult to score above three, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. But
But the higher, the better, obviously. Like you don't
yeah,
want to aim
obviously, like
at
being
three.
an Indian, you don't aim 3, you aim only
Of
4,
course.
4.0.
Of
That's
course.
it. Yeah, your mom wants it, your pop wants it. That's it.
Correct.
So there are these are the two. So every senior would let you know that this is a professor who would give you, and also there is a whole big game of assignment and test.
Okay. What is the
Okay,
game like? What do you mean by
so the
game?
game is there are some professors who never change an assignment. Okay, and there is another thing is there are some professors who change assignment but change just values here and there, and
Okay. Okay.
everything. I think like that's a whole different ball game, like checked and other things around. So you'll figure it out. But two selections.
These two
One
things.
is
Yeah.
these two things are very more fundamental. That if you are going for an education, to be very honest, if you select such a professor that goes for education, you practically won't have time.
Right. Right. Yeah. There is just
You
so much
prac
to do.
Yes, you practically won't have time to do 20 hours of on-campus job is the max you could do, believe me, because that guy who wants you to learn will make sure you learn.
It's interesting that you say that learning part because in at least when I was there in the US, we had this thumb of rule uh, for, and it differed by professors to an extent. If the class is 3 credit hours, for example,
Mm,
then with
nobody
some
gets it.
professor, yeah, with some professor, 3 hours means 3 hours you have to attend classes in the week, in the in class
In class,
hours.
yeah.
But that multiplied by 3 or multiplied by 4 number of hours is what you have to spend as
So,
homework learning apart
yeah,
from that, so that you can
exactly.
actually learn and do well
You can,
and
yeah, you can
correct.
contribute to a class other
Correct. So
than
that can vary between 3 or it can go as much as 5 or 6. I
5.
don't know. Depends on the
Sometimes, yeah.
professor. Exactly.
So, yes. So, the grading system here is more of your class participation, class contribution, how you
Yes.
do that. Yeah.
Yes.
If you take initiative in that particular class, you exactly have less time to, uh, do other things, because he does require efforts from you, because at every
Yes.
instant he keeps you on your toes with all the information that he provides, and he expects you to like take part in the class. And
Correct.
that was
Correct.
really great experience to learn.
And that is actually what makes a university such as Northeastern
Mm.
so good. Like the quality of the faculty is such and they teach in such a way that students learn and they make the most of their time there,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is a good thing, which is not a bad
Good
thing,
thing,
of course.
obviously. And it's a two-way situation, to be very honest. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, I think the universities here, or maybe like any abroad other than India, is more like an open source thing, correct? So so like if you are lucky, I would like to explain this. If you are lucky
yeah,
and
yeah.
you get an admission in fall, try going at least a week before your exam or before your school starts.
Correct.
Do these three things. Firstly, go to every school owned store, be it your grocery store, be it your pharmacy store, anything like that. Second, make sure to know when is the fall fest. There's a thing called as fall fest. What happens here is every club on this particular school, in terms of theater, drama, marketing, consulting work, leadership skills, cooking, Asian club, this club, that club, every club has to be on this day out for you in the open, and you walk around like it's just like a whole exhibit thing. Thirdly, try taking one course, right? After you've enrolled your course, like in what do you call it, the fall semester, try taking one course in a different school.
Hmm.
Correct. So like in Northeastern, there were there were three schools. The one was the whole hardcore engineering thing. Second was the MBA school. Third was the I think uh, arts and thing, and another was the health school. So I took a course in MBA school for leadership thing. Right. So figure these three things out.
Okay. So, yeah, you mentioned two very interesting things. Number one, when you
Yeah.
started talking about those three things that people should do, you said if you are lucky enough to join in the fall.
Hmm.
So this is I maybe a misconception that a lot of people have, but also it's true to an extent that joining in the fall is more advantageous than joining in the spring semester. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And the second thing that you said about the clubs. So, were you able to join any student organization or club in that time,
Uh,
or did you miss that day?
no. So what happened was, okay. So here comes a very good thing about networking.
Okay.
So what happened was, our school friend Akash.
Yes.
Yes. I met his fiance in India.
Okay.
Correct. And she knew some guy in Boston.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. He was again in Northeastern. He took me to this fall fest, and I drilled down to entrepreneurs club. I drilled down to marketing club, and I drilled down to consulting club. These are the three clubs I like visited. Apart from that, I also tried going into theater, uh,
Mhm.
but that didn't work out for me. So these are the three things I tried. And I also tried the gaming ideation club, but that also didn't work on my end, or I was not that interested with them. So these were the three clubs I made sure that I go every weekend or on Friday evenings, or whenever they schedule. Also, best part, if if it's on Friday evening, you get pizza. If it's on Saturday morning, you get coffee and donuts. You like things are sorted in that terms.
That is a great thing, if you join any of these clubs, at least once a day, once a week, or maybe
You
if you're
you
lucky,
you,
twice a week,
you
one or
get
two
meals
meals are sorted.
done. Yeah, and yes. So apart from that, what happened was with the consulting thing, that helped me a lot because every club has a flow that they try to give their members. So, like in a consulting club, someday alumni consultant from McKinsey, BCG, or AT Kearney comes and you talk. Just
Mhm.
ask random
Mhm.
stupid questions that you have. Sometimes, if you're lucky and they share their contact card, you can ask them. It's
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
quite normal, right? Sometimes, if you get a chance, you can ask them to like do a resume review, correct? and they are
Very good.
sometimes
Yeah.
very happy
Wow.
to do it, because it's very the things that you think that are very large in terms of you, they are quite nominal. Right.
Correct. Correct. And this is also, you're not going too much out of your way
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
try and network with people. These are people who are invited by the club, by the
By
university.
the club,
They
yeah,
are
and
coming on their own time and happy to help. They're there to
serve you,
help you
happy
out.
to serve you, yeah, exactly. And best part is, let's say talking to them is not your comfort zone, pretty much it's okay, but you get 20 different people with similar interests at one place that would be coming every week. If you interact one person a week, you will have 15 people at least that are ready to talk to you about, or like you can talk to about the same particular goddamn thing.
Correct.
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 Right. Maybe it's a career change that you want to do. Talk to these 15 people. At least they would be talking to like next 5 people. So you have a group of potential 75 people just by talking to 15 people. It's like it's very simple math, and sometimes it becomes very overwhelming just to think that uh, 75 people are in my potential contact list. But like it's that is all the whole thing of networking, right? And
Exactly.
you get some very much inside insights of what are the things going around other than the consulting, even in the entrepreneurs, right? If you are lucky, a founder comes and you might, who knows, you might get hired.
Of course, it's a
Never, right?
possibility, and if you don't
Yeah,
go, then you'll never know.
you just miss out. I interviewed for a product associate product position for a bamboo manufacturer toothbrush. So the whole thing is about him in sustainability, and he started his new startup again with bambuza socks for the homeless guys, and yeah, he's doing great, right? And like now, sometimes we talk, he calls, and I also call him sometimes, right? So it is like, to be very honest, like back in 2018, it was very big thing to know that someone as a founder who gets a funding of around like 15-20 million dollars whenever he goes for a funding round, talks to you as a pretty normal laid back guy, has a coffee with you or goes out for you with a pizza. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
things
sometimes,
are pretty much,
often,
yeah.
yeah, even maybe after, your meeting, your group meeting and all, you all meet in a bar or a
Pub. Yes,
restaurant.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
is like, of
Great way.
course, yeah, that is a great way to properly bond with everybody, not just
Exactly.
your
Yeah.
peers, but also the person who's been invited there.
Mm.
Very true. Very true.
Very
And
true.
I'm actually
You.
glad. Okay, go ahead.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I just said that you always make two friends in every club. That is the one who invites the guest
Mm-hmm.
first, and secondly the one who decides the place where you go after the club, after the meet, because those
Correct.
two are the only person who know each and every guest person, potential, past, or everyone. So like they have a good connection. Secondly,
Yes. Yes.
the other person knows what are the things that every guest wants or wants to do after a meeting, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if you know these two persons, like make friends, one gives you information, second makes sure that how things can be done. Quite simple.
Wonderful. Yeah, very, very rightly said. And nice. These two people are,
Yeah.
is how
Yeah.
the we Gujaratis work. Efficient.
Yeah, because like
Efficient.
there's no point fooling around with the seven member
Correct.
team, and then exactly moving around, and everyone doesn't need to know you, just know the basic two person from whom you are there, right?